Hi there, my name is Benjamin and I'm from San Bernardino, California. And so this testimony takes place in the summer, and it was our very last day of canvassing. And I remember I asked God, I was like, God, use me in some sort of ways, use me, you just however you can. And I remember as I was canvassing, I was doing a little bit of businesses and I saw this aquarium and it looked a little beaten down, and I remember I was kind of challenged. I was like, man, I don't know if I should go to that one, but I continued to go anyways. And I was talking to the guy. I asked him, I was showing him the books. He wasn't really interested in the health books, but then I showed him the spiritual books. And that's when I asked him, I was like, hey, are you religious by chance? And he kind of laughed. He's like, oh, my coworker is. And I kind of figured, I was like, okay, maybe he's gonna be like, oh, he's gonna brush me off or something. But then he kind of like paused and he was like, you're showing me these books. What's your faith journey like? And that kind of caught me off guard. I was like, oh, snap. So I explained to him, I was like, how I became Adventist, and, I realized that, God is not a God that says no and this and that, but it's actually just a loving God who wants that relationship. And so I was like, what piqued your interest all of a sudden? And that's when he told me, he said that, he started praying recently, even though he never did his whole life, but then he started praying recently. And just weird things started happening. He's heard messages on the radio, mood changes, right? Different attacks from all around. And that's when I was like, okay, this guy, obviously the devil wants him in some sort of way. And so I told him, I was like, man, like the more you get closer to God, right, the devil's going to try to attack in any type of way. But one thing I can give to you that I've learned in my spiritual walk that has helped me a lot is that you can be open with God, that no matter what you go through, you can be able to just express how you feel to him. And I remember he went from like being not that interested to like, he paused for a moment as I told him that, and he was like, okay, let me get 8 of your books. And I was like, oh, it's not really. So, he ended up getting 8 of the books, and I remember I prayed with him, and I remember to this day, his name is Doug, and so I really just hope that Doug is, walking closer with God.